It's 2024, and with the cost of, well, everything, you might be asking yourself, can I even afford to live in Charleston, South Carolina? Today we're diving into one of the most important topics if you're considering a move to the area, the cost of living. Now, of course, how the cost of living compares will depend on where you're moving from. One of the biggest misconceptions I hear is that since we're in the South, it's cheap to live here. And while I'm sure you'll save on some things, there are other things that will surprise you when it comes to what it costs. I'm Heather, your Charleston homegirl and local real estate expert. If you're thinking of moving to the Charleston area, or if you have questions on the breakdown of the cost in this video, reach out. I'd love to chat. You can find my contact info in the description below. Now, whether you're moving across country or across town, understanding the cost of living is crucial in planning your finances and finding that perfect place to call home. So let's get into it. We'll start off with the biggest expense for most people, which is housing. In Charleston, the median home price for the entire area is now $425,000, but that will vary depending on which side of town you're living in. So let's break it down, starting with the most expensive. At the top of our list, we have Daniel Island, where the average home price is about $2.62 million. Behind Daniel Island is Mount Pleasant. The average home price in Mount Pleasant is $1.41 million. Next is downtown, just under $829,000 for the average home. Then we've got Johns Island at $737,437. James Island coming in at $713,354. Next up is West Ashley, which is just outside of downtown at $556,852. Then UG at $547,810. Then we've got Hanahan, where the average home price is about $414,954, and Somerville, where the average home price is just under $414,000. Then we've got Moncks Corner, where the average home price is $366,205, North Charleston at $352,316, Goose Creek at $329,000, and Ladson at $321,782. And if you're planning on renting when you get to Charleston, there's also a wide variety in rental prices. So whether you're living in an apartment, a house, maybe an apartment that has extra amenities, will factor into how much you're paying in rent. So for a 2-bedroom apartment, you might be paying anywhere from $1,500 a month upwards of $3,300. Of course, anywhere closer to the beaches or downtown, you're going to be at that upper price point, and as you get a little bit further out, closer to that $1,500 mark. Let's talk about property taxes. In South Carolina, we are known for having relatively low property taxes. In fact, we rank 6th lowest in the nation. And if you live in your home as a primary residence, you can apply for a 4% discounted tax rate, which reduces your tax liability by about 2/3. And if you're over 65, you can apply for another discount that takes $50,000 off of your appraised value. Now, where you're going to save in property taxes, you'll definitely make up for in homeowners insurance. Here in Charleston, we've seen our homeowners insurance rates nearly triple over the last couple of years. This is due to being a coastal community which is susceptible to hurricanes and, of course, inflation. The average homeowner pays about $2,200 a year for homeowners insurance, which of course will depend on the age, size, and location of your home. And I tell anyone that lives here, it's a good idea to have additional flood insurance. Some areas will be required to carry flood insurance. Minimal flood zone, you'll pay anywhere from $600 to $800 a year, upwards of $2,500 a year for some of those areas closer to the coast or downtown, which are more prone to flooding. Now, before I get too far, I want to remind you to take a look at my last video where I talk about the pros and cons of living in Charleston. So let's round out our housing costs with utilities. Overall, energy costs in Charleston are a bit higher than the national average. For electricity, you're going to pay about $265 a month, and that can be higher in the summer when you're cooling off your home in the excessive heat. For water sewer, about $95, and for internet, about $65, although I have seen that higher in some areas. Now let's talk about food. I don't want to get into eating out because we have everything from quick service fast food all the way to fine dining, so that will really depend on where you like to eat out at. But looking at your grocery options, the good news is we have plenty of places to stock up on groceries for you and your family. We've got everything from Publix, Harris Teeter, Food Lion, Walmart, Neighborhood Walmart, Lidl, Aldi, I mean, you name it, we have it. I also tell people it's a good idea to check out local farmers markets and go to the farms directly for good deals on fresh local produce and local meats. So let's break down some of your average grocery costs. If you're shopping in the Charleston area, you can expect to pay about $3.61 for a gallon of milk, about $3.11 for a loaf of bread, about $2.87 for a dozen eggs, and about $5.70 for a pound of ground beef. So I'm curious, how does Charleston stack up to where you live? Drop me a comment below and let me know if it's more expensive, less expensive, or about the same. Let's circle back to taxes. If you're living and working in South Carolina, we do have a graduated income tax structure, and that's also adjusted each year for inflation. So for 2024, anyone making over $15,000 a year is going to be taxed at a 6.2% rate. And just for reference, last year in 2023, that rate was 6.4%. South Carolina also has a statewide sales tax of 6%. However, with added local and city tax, if you're shopping around Charleston, you're going to be paying closer to 7 to 9% sales tax. Next up, transportation. I feel like this one really is a mixed bag. So we do have some of the lowest gas prices in the nation. Right now, we're averaging about $3.30 for a gallon of gas. Of course, what you spend on gas will depend on how far your commute is each day. Now, this was something that was surprising to me when I moved to the area. Get ready to pay some of the highest rates for car insurance. A single driver with full coverage on one vehicle is paying about $2,231 a year. That is 31% higher than the national average. And if you have a vehicle, some other costs to keep in mind, while we don't have state inspections or emissions, we do have an annual tax that you pay on your vehicle based on the make, model, year, and mileage. That tax also applies if you own a boat, RV, or motorcycle. And we do have a limited bus system in the Charleston area that's relatively affordable. A monthly pass for the bus runs about $59. Looking at healthcare, the general consensus is that healthcare costs are a bit lower here in Charleston. So paying for a doctor or dentist visit is about 13% lower than the national average. So if you've got little kids and you need to put them in daycare, we've got a lot of great daycare options in the area. So for a full day, 5-day week program, it's about $9,947 a year for just one kid. And as that kid gets older, you might be looking at private school. Again, lots of great options in the area for private school. The average tuition is just under $15,000 a year. Of course, that will depend on whether your child is in upper or lower school, and we do have some really great Christian private schools in the area where the average tuition is a little bit lower. And if you're looking at higher education, maybe for yourself or your kids, we have a couple of great colleges in Charleston. Let's take a look at the chart where we break down in-state and out-of-state tuition for the College of Charleston, which is downtown, the Citadel, which is a military college also downtown, and Charleston Southern University, located in North Charleston. We also have a really great community college called Trident Tech University, and you can see there on the chart the cost for the average tuition if you live in the Tri-County area. With so much fun stuff to do in the Charleston area, you'll definitely want to save room in your budget for entertainment. We've got a handful of plantation and public gardens that you can tour throughout the year, as well as lots of great museums, including the African American History Museum, and we do have an aquarium. Tickets for those run anywhere from $15 to $32. If you're a movie person, about $12 a person for a ticket, and if you like to work out, again, lots of great options. We've got Planet Fitness, Crunch, yoga studios. We've even got a really great YMCA organization if you live in the Somerville area. Gym membership will run you about $40 a month. Okay, so there you have it, a pretty comprehensive breakdown of what it costs to live in the Charleston area. I hope this video was helpful to you in deciding where you might move next. As always, if you have any questions about moving to the area or maybe about something I didn't touch on in the video, feel free to reach out. My contact info is in the description below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow for more Charleston real estate insights. See you next time.